guys, Nick here. Welcome back to my Supergirl episode review. My thoughts on tonight's episode of Supergirl titled Homecoming. And I think this is, like, story-wise, one of the better episodes of the season so far. Because there wasn't some convoluted, too cheesy thing going on. This was a very honestly kind of dark and serious episode. Because you had, obviously the return of Dean Cain as Jeremiah Danvers, and him coming back, and the mistrust of Mon-El and Jeremiah, and everyone kind of figuring out, like, what is Jeremiah really up to, and then you find out by the end of the episode more or less what he's doing, and this episode is really starting to pick up, like, the story of the season of, like, the DEO versus Cadmus, and what Cadmus is ultimately trying to do, and again, I think this was a great episode. I think Dean Cain did a great job in this episode, and Dean Cain is a guy who, like, I never watched too much of the show, his Lois and Clark show that he did back in the 90s. I saw the first episode. I thought it was really good. Haven't really watched many episodes beyond that. I may have seen like one or two, but my only real exposure to him was like through his one appearance in Smallville and this show. But and since he's been in the show, I think he's always been a great addition to the show. That's why it sucked that they've had his character gone for the last like 14, 15 years. So bringing him back in tonight's episode and having him be a character that you don't really trust because of how easy it was to get him back and to take down the Cadmus truck in the beginning with Kara Jean stopping the convoy. I did find that just his interactions with everyone in this episode, with Kara, with Alex, and Alex in this episode, I think this is the most, like, other than like the episode of her coming out, this is the most emotionally vulnerable she's been, I think, so far in the show. Because, like, obviously, like, having her dad, like, physically there and back to her, like, it was hard for, like, seeing her interactions with everyone and kind of her reacting to Kara's mistrust of Jeremiah, and especially Mon-El, who, she essentially kicked Mon-El out of Kara's apartment when they were all trying to have dinner. And then also a little side thing, it was cool seeing Helen Slater back as Alex and Kara's mom. And I can't remember her name off the top of my head, other than her being the other Dr. Danvers. It was just cool seeing her back. And I don't know, it kind of hit me in this episode that's kind of weird because you have an actor that played Superman playing a character who's married to the actress that played Supergirl, and obviously they're cousins, so I think it kind of hit me in this episode that was a little weird. But that was just a little side thing. You guys know, just to go into some of the things I didn't like, not that this was a bad thing, but you guys know, for the last few weeks, I've hated the Mon-El and Kara romance storyline, and just overall Mon-El as a character. I still hate the romance. I still think that's a stupid idea, because it's not going to last. And in these last couple of episodes, since they focused on the romance, like, where's James Olsen? Where the hell has he been? Because again, you're sidelining an actor of color or a character of color for a storyline with your boring white character, So with that being said, I didn't hate Mon-El in this episode, and he was the one character who he kind of got things going in this episode because of his mistrust of Jeremiah Danvers and him kind of going to win, saying, we need to keep our guard up with this guy. Again, the first time in a while that I actually kind of liked the Mon-El character, because they were doing something with him that wasn't tied to him trying to impress Kara, or with him trying to, just be his normal douchey self. And it was the first time that they gave the actor something to do other than being the stupid douchey, like, frat guy that he's kind of been for most of the season. Again, I liked him a lot in this episode. I still hate him and Kara together. I don't mind them as friends and allies, like that I'm okay with. I see no romantic chemistry between the two of them at all. And to me, it's just like, it kind of, I think it's kind of sending the wrong message, because it's like, basically you're telling girls, like, a guy can be an asshole, but as long as he's being nice because of you, then it's okay, and then you guys can get together. I just don't find that, it's not, I don't know, I just find that very problematic, and that's why one of the many reasons why I don't like him and Kara together. But again, I have to be honest and say I didn't hate him in this episode. I actually kind of liked him in this episode because they put the romance aside and focused on Mon-El as a character. and we got to see more of him kind of being at the forefront of this episode, along with Jeremiah Danvers. And also, as a little side thing, we got like a lot of cool Martian Manhunter action in this episode. I really like seeing especially seeing Jean and Jeremiah's interactions throughout the episode. It goes to show that David Harewood is such an amazing actor to play Martian Manhunter. And I thought for a while no one was going to get better than the actor who played him in Smallville. Whose name I can't even remember off the top of my head. But they both bring such heart and levity to the character that, David Harewood, because he's playing him on a regular basis, like, I'm feeling not more attached, but I just feel more like emotionally drawn to this incarnation of the character, because we see him on a week-to-week basis, and you see a lot more of his emotional struggle and what he's been through and what he's currently going through. And in this episode, seeing his interactions with Jeremiah, I thought were really well done. And then his turn on him when Jeremiah was going through the DEO's database and to ultimately take out the registry of aliens in the U.S. And when Jeremiah and John had that brief fight, and as Martian Manhunter and Jeremiah, I thought that was really cool and well shot. And it's funny because I feel like we see a lot more of Martian Manhunter now that he's on the CW compared to when they were on CBS. Granted, that was a little bit of a slow burn with the reveal of Martian Manhunter and stuff like that. But you guys know I love seeing Martian Manhunter in general, so I'm really happy to see that. And there's also a little side thing before I forget. Obviously, with the shows moved from the CBS to from CBS to the CW, there are certain actors and characters that they can't bring back because of the lower budget and because they moved from LA to Vancouver. So characters like Maxwell Lord and Lucy Lane, obviously Cat Grant, like those actors, I guess, were too big and too expensive to bring to Vancouver for the production of this season of the show. So Maxwell Lord and, again, Lucy Lane, characters we haven't seen at all since the beginning of the season or mentioned nothing. But in this episode, we saw Lord Technology sign when they're first going after the convoy. And I thought that was a nice little Easter egg, but it goes on to like address something to me that's like, at least say what happened to Maxwell Lord, because you can have him not be on the show and that's fine, but at least give us as fans like a reason why, at least within the show, why Maxwell Lord is around, because he was essentially one of the biggest villains in the first season. So for him to just up and disappear was something that we all kind of got over, but for me as a fan, I would like some sort of explanation within the show as to why that is. Also, I really enjoyed seeing Wynn in this episode. Wynn is, again, he went from being a character I really didn't like at all to becoming one of my favorite side characters in the show, and I like his romance with that girl, Lyra, or whatever her name is. I can't remember her name off the top of my head either. Just the one alien chick from the bar. They seem to get along really well, and they have pretty good chemistry. And I like seeing Wynn be able to have a life outside of the DEO, and his thing with James and the whole Guardian thing. For Wynn actually be a character on his own and have his own life outside of the main storyline of the show. I think that's really cool. I thought the action in this episode was great. My one thing I can't want to bring up because I feel like I always forget about it. Because whenever we see like the real Hank Henshaw, Cyborg, Superman, whatever, they have that weird metal plate thing covering the side of his head. It looks awful. It looks terrible. I don't know why they do that. I don't know why they don't put some at least actual metal prosthetic to make it at least look cool. Because it honestly looks like he has a piece of garbage over his face. It doesn't look cool at all. I don't know. I just thought that was just a little thing I wanted to bring up because I feel like I always forget to bring it up whenever I see Hank Henshaw on the show. Other than that, I think that's going to be it for me. I really enjoyed this episode because it furthered the plot of the season, as well as it developed Mon-El a little bit beyond him just being a love interest for Kara. I hope the romance ends because I don't see an episode like this. I can like Mon-El because he's not a love interest for Kara. It's when he's just a love interest for Kara is when I find him a stupid and annoying character because for most of the season he's been just a douchey asshole, and I don't know why Kara ever liked him. I feel like I keep bringing that up. So yeah, I think with that being said, that's going to be it for me. So what did you guys think of this episode? Sound your thoughts in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for all the other content I put up on my channel. Earlier today, I did a reaction interview to the brand new Kong Skull Island trailer. You guys can check that out. Tomorrow night's going to be the new episode of The Flash, and then Wednesday, of course, is going to be a new episode of Arrow, I believe, unless one of them is taking another break or whatever. I don't know. Guess we'll find out tomorrow or Wednesday. Yeah, again, that's going to be it for me. So until next time, guys, have a good one.